Tom Brady has played 22 seasons in the NFL. Tom Brady has been to the Super Bowl in 10 of them. Tom Brady won 7 out of 10. Now that he has officially hung it up, does this make him the greatest athlete of all time?
Kevin, I've been kind of bouncing back and forth on this one, but I'm going to say yes. And I know that some people may feel a certain type of way about that, but I'm going to make my case on why I believe that that is the case. So, when I look at Tom Brady does not possess typical athletic skills like speed, agility, finesse. Like, he doesn't have that. But to me, he's still an athlete. He's still going out on the field and being able to perform like everybody else is. And to me, the difference is with Tom Brady. He won 7 Super Bowls. I mean, the accomplishments speak for themselves. I mean, multiple MVPs, Super Bowl MVPs. I mean, you name it. But the difference to me is that despite the fact that Tom does not necessarily have the athletic skills that we all are in awe of certain athletes, whether it's football, baseball, basketball, or hockey, the difference for me is that Tom executes unlike anybody else. No matter if it's Jordan, no matter if it's like Wayne Gretzky, Babe Ruth, or Hank Aaron. Because, like, to me, that's the company that Tom Brady is in. Tom Brady is in that rare air where it's only guys like that. Because to me, the names that I just brought up, those are guys that transcended the sport and revolutionized their respective sports, unlike anybody else that came before them. And Tom is that one because despite the fact that he didn't like revolutionize the quarterback spot as far as bring a bunch of athletic skill to that position, he brought a level of intelligence to that position unlike anybody came before him. Really, the other person that you could probably credit for Tom's success in that regard as far as bringing intelligence to the quarterback spot was Peyton Manning. Because Peyton Manning definitely pushed Tom Brady to be a better version of himself throughout his career before Peyton retired. Tom Brady, he won 6 Super Bowls with the Patriots. Everybody knows this. But to me, one of the most fantastic parts about his career was that 2-year stint in Tampa. To go to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in his first season and win a Super Bowl, his first year there, it's almost unprecedented. Because when you look at the Buccaneers throughout the entire course of their franchise, they are one of, if not the worst franchise that we've seen throughout all of sports as far as winning percentage goes. The Buccaneers sucked for decades. They were one of the laughingstocks of the NFL for years. And when Brady shows up, that team is instantly converted into a Super Bowl contender based off of one guy going there. Granted, Tampa had some good players. It's just that Tom's presence elevated that team unlike any other person that had come through the Tampa Bay Buccaneers organization before that. And to me, that is significant because it shows me the impact that one guy can bring. And to win a Super Bowl, to win a championship in the first season and going to a new team it's unbelievable. You do not see that very often, whether it's in football or in other sports. You just don't typically see it that often. And when it comes to Tom, the accomplishments are unbelievable. The achievements that he's had are unbelievable. And to me, to be in this discussion of like the greatest athlete of all time, you have to be undeniably the best player that has ever played in that respective sport. Tom, to me, is. It's not Joe Montana anymore. To me, once Tom Brady had that 28-3 comeback in Super Bowl 51, when they beat the Atlanta Falcons 34-28, that to me cemented him as the greatest quarterback of all time. And then when he won his 6th Super Bowl championship and then won his 7th, that to me cemented the fact that not only is he the greatest quarterback of all time, he's the greatest player that has ever played in the NFL. There have been great players in the NFL, but Tom is unlike any of them. And to me, we've seen great players in different sports. Michael Jordan, Wayne Gretzky, Babe Ruth. I mean, I listed those guys before. But to me, Tom is the best out of all of them. He went to 10 Super Bowls. Kevin, that's unbelievable. 10 Super Bowls? I mean, there have been 55 Super Bowls. He damn near went to 1/5 of all of the Super Bowls throughout the entire history of the NFL. It's unbelievable. And to me, I know it could come off as a controversial statement. But yeah, I see it as the fact that Tom Brady is the greatest athlete that we've ever seen. And I'll kick it to you from here.
So I'm also going to agree. I have to. I'm the one that posed this question. Kyle was kind of skeptical about it for a while. It took us a couple of takes to get this down right. It took us genuinely a while to kind of get it going. But here's why, to me, Tom Brady is the greatest athlete of all time. So when you look at the greats, when you look at the best, the GOATs of each sport, as Kyle has already listed, it really depends on the era you grew up in. For basketball, the GOAT conversation has been going back for the last 5 or so years with LeBron James and Michael Jordan. To me, it's MJ. It's not close. For baseball, you can really make an argument. It could be Hank Aaron for the all-time home run leader. It could be Babe Ruth or Yogi Berra for having 1,000,000 championships. Yogi in particular for having 10. It could be Bill Russell, or obviously, Bill Russell was basketball, so I retract that statement. The point of the matter is, hardware is important, yes. But when you look at longevity, when you look at statistics, when you look at everything that Tom has been able to accomplish within his career, you have to say yes. 7 out of 10, 10 and 22. Tom Brady also played in multiple eras of football to where the game actually got a little bit harder to a certain extent. Not necessarily from a physical standpoint, but intellectually. Defensive schemes got better. Defensive athletes got better. Prime example, Aaron Donald is basically like a stronger and faster Lawrence Taylor. Granted, 2 different positions, but what I'm trying to say is athletes actually got better as time progressed, and Tom kept his level of success here. Tom looks better than what he did in his 30s. Tom looks better than what he did in his 20s. For God's sakes, at 44, 5,000 passing yards, 42 touchdowns. Like, are you absolutely fucking kidding me? To me, it's not close. It's not even up for debate anymore. Football is the most physical sport of all time. There is no question. Hockey is probably the second because there are actual fistfights allowed during games and because you're actually knocking people clean out and getting up and you keep playing versus when football, the tackle pretty much ends the play. Dude, Tom played the quarterback position as one of the most unathletic quarterbacks we've ever seen. Normally a pocket present quarterback. For the most part, Tom doesn't run. When Tom gets sacked, he goes down. He's not fighting. He's not shaking things off like Michael Vick. And he was able to carry that success throughout 22 years. There were some losses. There were some bad seasons. And even his bad seasons, he was still a top 5 quarterback in majority of those years. The man tore his ACL, came back, and won Comeback Player of the Year and went to the playoffs. Like, I don't understand how people can make the discussion and the debate that it's not. Tom Brady leads all statistical categories in almost every single piece that a quarterback can. Touchdown passes, wins, completions, yards, you name it. 22 seasons, 20 with one team, just like Kobe and Dirk did. I'm just saying in general, if you want to make the longevity comment, he did it for 22. Tom literally is the face of the Mount Rushmore of athletes to me, and it genuinely is not close. Like, you can make the argument he lost in the championship games, Jordan did it. Yeah, but Jordan also took a decline when he came back from retirement from Charlotte, or when he came back from retirement and went to Washington. Tom went to Tampa, and you can make the discussion that he played better in Tampa than he did in his first couple of years in New England. Tom Brady was 42 years old when he walked away from New England and wins the Super Bowl in his first year. I don't even think Jordan went to the playoffs with the Wizards. Like, you really can't have this discussion. Wayne Gretzky, 20 years, is the greatest hockey player, the greatest scorer. Like, are you like this discussion, as much as I hate to admit it, we have witnessed some of the greatest athletes ever. Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, Peyton Manning, Derek Jeter, like all of them. And Tom Brady played longer than them all, won more than all of them, and has the hardware to prove it with MVPs, Super Bowl MVPs, actual NFL championships. So he wins in stats, he wins in hardware, he wins in longevity, and we're going to sit here and try to say that he's not the greatest athlete of all time. Maybe because he's not the fastest, maybe because he's not the strongest. The closest person to me in terms of if you want to make athlete is LeBron James, because LeBron James is now in year 19 and in this last couple of months has been averaging 30. LeBron James will pass Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in points scored as time progresses. LeBron James is up there in top assists, top rebounds, steals, you name it. Bron statistically is going to be up there with Tom Brady. But what's not going to happen is he's not going to pass Jordan in rings. In my opinion, I'm sorry. It's not going to happen. Kyle already made the point. If he had won more earlier on, then to us, I agree with Kyle, he would be the greatest because the stats are going to come with time. But the hardware, he is under 500 in the championships he's been in. I get it. He was on bad teams and, he was the greatest of that team, the best player on that team. But again, when you talk about greatest of all time in your sport, there's still a debate for Bron and Jordan. In the NFL, there's no longer a debate, and there has not been one. Kyle, what would you say in the last 5 years? It's been Brady for a while. And to look at it from an athletic perspective, dude, he's the greatest quarterback of all time. He's the greatest athlete of all time. And to me, it really is not that close.
I would say Brady ended the greatest quarterback conversation after Super Bowl 51 with the comeback.
Like I said, within the last 5 years.
But to me, the difference is winning those last two Super Bowls and maintaining the consistency as far as excellence goes throughout that time frame. Who has had a better NFL career than he's had? Who? To me, there's nobody. You can maybe look at other players that have come in the past, maybe like Lawrence Taylor and Deion Sanders. And you can talk about guys that have made a huge impact in the game of football. Tom Brady has, but he has more hardware than all of those guys.
And the best part about it that makes me laugh, all of these greats, sadly, it happens. Time has won. Every one of them that I named, as they got older, their productivity declined. Now, their statistics, of course, are going to go up. Derek Jeter with hits, Michael Jordan with points, Kobe with points. But that's just inevitable. As the more you play, of course, those are going to accumulate. Tom Brady, you can legitimately make the argument got better as he got older. Bro, we literally are sitting here having this discussion, and he just led the NFL in passing yards. Michael Jordan went from 30 points per game to 20 when he went to the Wizards. Like, that is a massive decrease. Kobe Bryant, of course, was battling injuries the last 6-7 years of his career with the knee, the Achilles, the shoulder. Everything. Kobe Bryant was battered and bruised and left a shell of himself and scored 60 points in his final game. Rest in peace. But the point is, Tom didn't go down at all. Tom went up, and that's scary.
And I'll make my last point on this. When you look at the NFL, when it gets into the playoffs, you have to be your best or you're out. It's one game. One game, you either advance or you're out. In basketball, hockey, and baseball.
Baseball, outside of the wild card game for baseball, yeah.
You can have a screw-up game where you can make it up. You can have all of those in basketball and hockey. In the NFL and football, you can't. And this, to me, is what defines Tom Brady. Tom Brady is the best clutch player that I've ever seen. Because in the most pressurized moments, in career-defining games, legacy-defining games, he stepped up and executed at the highest level possible to win not only playoff games, but to win championships. And to me, that's the difference. I understand that Jordan went 6 for 6. He didn't lose a finals throughout his career, but he only played 15 seasons. Brady played 22, went to 10 of them. Granted, he lost 3 of them, but he won 7 of them. To me, Tom Brady excelled in the most pressure moments of the game and rose above the occasion and set himself apart from everybody else, where everybody is outright saying, from his own contemporaries, saying that this guy is the greatest player that has ever come through the NFL. And to me, not only is he that, I'll go out on a limb and say that he is the greatest athlete that we've ever seen, despite not being athletic in any way, shape, or form. I know how counterintuitive that sounds, but he has shown it through work time and time again, and that 22-year career of his proves it. There's really nothing left for me. There's nothing left to be said.
There's nothing.
There's nothing.
Out of his 22 years, he made the playoffs 19 times. Technically, one of those years, he missed the season with the torn ACL. Mm-hmm. So in 21 seasons, he made the playoffs 19 times. He won a Super Bowl 7 of them, but he went to 10 in 19 seasons.
Yeah,
that's insane.
Yeah, I think the only years that they didn't was his rookie season, and then it was the year after they beat the Rams. They didn't make it to the playoffs.
Yeah,
but
they won in 2001. They didn't make it in 2002, and then they didn't make it in 2008.
And he was out. They still went 11-5.
The point is what I'm trying to make, guys. You can say what you want. You can make the argument. This is literally what this conversation is here for. There is a Mount Rushmore. We are not taking away the fact that there are greats. But when you think of the first face on that Mount Rushmore, when you think of the most iconic player, when you think of the person that dominated their sport to the fullest of the extent throughout the career, not just a period of time, throughout the whole thing, it's Tom Brady.
Yes, sir. That's
the GOAT, bro. That's the GOAT.
Whether he's done or not, he's done. It's my guy. Greatest player of all time, as far as I'm concerned. I'll leave it at that.
But guys, that's going to wrap it up. Thank you guys for coming in and tuning in. A lot of our videos lately have actually been gaining some traction. So again, we appreciate all newcomers, all new subs. For people that have actually come in and regularly followed us, as always, thank you so much. Please share, please like and comment, whatever it is you guys got to do. But as always, the Neighborhood Podcast is here to provide you guys with incredible content, and we will see you guys again soon.
Mm-hmm.